Hey budgeters, today I'm here to tell you that a little bit of money goes a long way. A little bit of money goes a long way. Money gives you freedom. And I'm not talking about millions of dollars right now. I'm not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars right now. I am not talking about passive income or dividends that cover your expenses. I'm not talking about that right now. I want to tell you that a little bit goes a long way. Be encouraged right now, folks. Please be encouraged. If you have the ability to cover your expenses and you have a little bit left over, you are in a prime spot. You are in a great spot. And let me tell you why. Because first and foremost, you can use that little to build it into a lot. You can use that little to transform it into a lot. First and foremost, if you have a little bit left over, you can start by building up a 1 month emergency fund. You can have in the bank, in your savings account, enough to cover your expenses for 1 month. If you have enough to cover your expenses for 1 month, you have a buffer between you and life. If an emergency happens, if somehow you lose your job, you have funds to tap into so that life does not destroy you. That's number one. And that in itself is having freedom. And that in itself is having peace. And yes, the ultimate goal is to get to a 6 month emergency fund. But if you can do one, you can do six. And if you can do one, you're already successful. Just times it by six. Okay? You can do that. You definitely can do it. And once you get to that level, you are sailing. And let me tell you why. You're sailing because you are now free to use your margin, to have fun, to live life. So now all of that extra that comes in, you don't have to worry about really saving anymore. I mean, of course, you might want to invest at a point, but now you can start using it to have fun because you have that cushion and you have that buffer. So enjoy yourself. Take yourself out on dates. Take your spouse out on dates. Take your kids somewhere. Enjoy life in the way that you see fit. Start saving up for those vacations. Start saving up for those day trips. Have fun because you know now, hey, I got a little bit of freedom. I got a little bit of peace because you have that buffer. Because if you fall, it won't destroy you. You have a buffer. You can live a little bit lighter. You can live a little bit freer. And you don't have to be bogged down by what if this happens and what if that happens. You don't have to be concerned. So then start to enjoy your money. Start going out to eat and start doing all the things that you love to do. The next thing is you are free to be independent. And let me tell you what it means to be independent. Because you have that buffer between you and life, you don't have to go to nobody. You don't have to rely on nobody. You don't have to rely on those payday lenders to take all your money because you didn't have $500 to cover an expense. You don't have to rely on grandma, grandpa, daddy, uncle, auntie to give you anything because you got it. You're free to be independent. You don't have to rely on nobody. You don't have to look nobody in the face and say, I borrowed something from you and I'm going to give it back. But right now, times is hard. You don't have to do that. You are free to be independent. You are free to just rely on you. And isn't that an awesome feeling? Isn't that like a stress-free way to live your life? And you don't have to just be burdened down by what you've given or what you've taken from other people. Then they want to ask you what you doing with the money and what you need it for and when you gonna give it back. And you gotta worry about all that because you got your stuff. You got yours. You on your own. You are free to be independent. And then you're free to be private. Because you don't have to tell nobody what you doing, what you need the money for. Don't you want to keep your business to you? It ain't none of your business what I need this for. But you end up having to tell people once you're relying on them to get their money. Then you end up, man, I'm just needing that money for such and such and this such and such. You can't tell nobody nothing. Because all you got to do is whip out your cash and go. You don't have to tell nobody nothing. You can be free to be private as you want to be. Because you moving in this world how you want. Because you ain't got to rely on nobody for nothing. So it's just you. It's just you maneuvering through the world. And guess what? Guess what? Then you are free to be authentic to who you are. To authentically show up in this world as you. Let's say you go to work one day and your boss is telling you not to wear your hair like that, don't wear your clothes like that, and don't be who you are. Then what? If you really feel empowered to do so, if it is truly in your spirit, you have 6 months of a cushion to say, you know what, I don't need to be here. I don't need to be here. I don't need to be in this space because right now you are demeaning me and you are not authentically allowing me to show up as who I want to be. And you have the money. You got the money to say, bye. You got the money to say, I don't need to be here. You have the money to say, you don't treat me like that. You have the money to say, how you going to talk to me like that? And then you can throw up the deuces and you can peace out. Because ain't nobody have to disrespect you or talk to you like that. Because guess what? Now you got the funds to tell them what to do with themselves. You have freedom with just a little bit. It only takes a little bit. Take your little bit and grow it into a lot bit. So that you could be free to show up in this world as who you want to be, so that you could be as private as you want to be, so that you can be independent and not have to rely on anybody for any single thing. That's the best way to show up in this world. And you need that with money. But the best thing about it is you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. And if you keep your expenses low, you don't need that much at all. Come on. Be free to show up in this world as who you want to be. Be you. Do you.